Hey guys, if you still like us after listening to this podcast, do us a favor and share this with a friend of yours or a family member. Maybe not your mom or dad, but somebody who you think will still like us after listening to it. Also, it'd be great if you can give us a like on Facebook or write a nice comment about us on iTunes so more people can share the love and conquer their shame.
So, this is where it gets weird. I had to get up super early for school, so I couldn't just stay home and stay sick or fake sick, because then my mom would see that I'm not actually sick and I'd have to go to school. So what I do is I leave early for school, I go all the way around, and we all know how the brown line loops around. I would get up in the loop, I would use a payphone to call my mom, being like, hey, I'm sick, I'm not going to school. And then she'd be like, okay, I got this, I gotta believe you. And then I would loop around and just go home. Growing up, man, I fucking love jerking off. I don't know about you guys. I really love jerking off, and I hated going to school. So oftentimes I would fake sick from school just to jerk off all day. Because I had fucking two brothers and a ma. It's no prime time to jerk off, but I figured if I fake home from school. So then what I would do was, the brown line loops around, and in the morning when it loops around, there's nobody on the train. So I would be on the train all alone, and then I'd get like just super horny for being You guys had a Robert Downey Jr. movie. You can't touch me like that. I didn't say until proven guilty. Come on, don't we read the fucking Constitution in here, motherfuckers?
There we go.
That was Bobby Buds, and this is We Still Like You.
The show about embracing your shame.
With me today is co-creator, co-producer, and here for the first time in the studio after some time away from us, Danny Gallegos.
Woo! And standing next to me is the fun, lovable Dan Sheehan.
This week here on We Still Like You, we've got stories about giving yourself a little love. Jacking it.
Tuning your cigar.
Playing the one-handed fiddle.
Flushing out your clam.
Ordering a Denny's Grand Slam for one. We've got a whole bunch of self-loving little dirtbags on this show, but the first one is one that's very near and dear to our heart, our co-producer, Shannon Noll.
Absolutely. So give her an extra hand for that. Guys, put it together for Shannon Noll, everybody.
Thanks. Hey, so I grew up in rural Connecticut area, and when I didn't graduate from high school. I shouldn't say graduated. After high school, I decided to move out of my parents' house as soon as I turned 18, and I moved into this apartment that was on my best friend's farm. Nothing out there. Is this old place that had been decorated in the 70s, so it was full of shag carpeting and wood paneling. Gorgeous place. You could feel the wind when it blew inside the apartment. And I lived there with my friend Lee, and we would, at that time, I also discovered Adderall and alcohol, which is a great combination because one will make you wake up, the other will put you to sleep, so you just take one after the other. My favorite thing to do is take a ton of Adderall at night and then decoupage the shit out of things. I was a real party girl. And then I would drink to go to sleep after decoupaging till 5 in the morning. And one night in particular, Lee had gotten her hands on some rum, so we thought that we were super classy. So we sat down, we ordered some pizza, and we opened up Scrabble, and we played Scrabble late into the night, along with the cat. At one point during the night, Lee decided to go to bed, and I wanted to stay up and decoupage. Cat went under the couch. So I popped some Adderall and took the rum to bed with me. I blacked out and woke up the next morning and started touching my hair, and it was wet. I was like, I don't think I showered last night. Then I looked down at my bed, and there were just paper clippings all over my bed. And also, I realized that I itched down there. I felt like I might have a yeast infection. So I went to check it out. I reached down, and I was like, sure enough, feels like a yeast infection. Looked at it, looked like a yeast infection. and I looked next to my bed, and there was a bottle of decoupage sitting there. And I realized what had happened was that I had gotten drunk and masturbated with decoupage. So that is the story of how I glued my pussy shut. All right, thank you guys.
Shannon Noll, everyone. Give it up for her. All right, let's do some
That was Shannon Noll. Coming up next, we learn a little bit about Julia Weiss living life in the fast lane.
Because sometimes you just got to take a little time for you, you know?
I've got a good one. So well, okay, yep. One time I was doing the thing that this show is talking about, and I was alone, and I was like, well, girl, you look pretty. Let's have some fun, but with myself.
Yeah.
And I put on headphones, and I was listening to the Black Keys, and they can get pretty sexy, right? And so then I forgot to lock the door, and an exterminator came in.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so the exterminator walked in on me masturbating, and he just shut the door immediately, obviously. And then I heard him run down the stairs, and so I was like, okay, cool. And so I put my clothes back on, and I kind of walked down the stairs, and then I looked at him dead in the eye, and I said, porn's always taught me that this was going to be a much sexier time in both of our lives.
Come on in.
Get rid of these bugs in my...
There are hundreds of bugs inside this place.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I didn't invite him in. My landlord did. And my landlord was like, yeah, no one's home, have at it. Which is also what I thought.
Well, we got one more story for you guys, and without further ado, here's Julia Weiss.
I love this woman. She is she's awesome. She's one of my favorite performers. Please welcome to the stage right now, Julia Weiss.
Hi guys, my name is Julia Weiss. I'm going to tell you just a couple things about myself. One, when I was 8 years old, I 100% pooped in my backyard on a dare. And I'm very happy I did it because there's nothing cooler than pooping outside. Two, when I was in college, for 2 weeks, I ate nothing but Funyuns and drank nothing but Diet Coke. And three, I totally know it's not okay to masturbate in a cab. So there's this show in town called Collector's Edition, and I got asked to do it, and I was so excited. And I spent a long time writing my piece. I was so ready to go. It's very well organized. I'm not used to organization, and I find it a daunting, horrifying thing. So I wouldn't really fully read all of the emails because it was too many words, and it stressed out my brain. But on the day of the show, a lot of emails were coming in, and I was working really hard because I wanted my story to be so good. And one of the emails says, hey, we're going to be meeting at New City Cafe at 7:30. Now, the show was at the Hideout, which is in a very different neighborhood from this cafe. But I was like, oh, this is where they're meeting, and then they're all probably going to take a cab or something to go to the Hideout where the show is. So I sent an email like, hey, not going to make this meetup. Can't wait till the show. So I keep working on my piece, and I'm very satisfied with the reality that I am the number one best at all the things. And that tonight is the night that I'm going to make other people realize that, like, I'm 100% the best at all the things. I print out my piece at my place of employment for free. It was early summer, it was warm and nice out, and so I decided to walk there because there's nothing better than walking to where your show is on a night when you know you're going to make everyone know that you are the number one best at everything. I show up there, a man with very cool tattoos asks to see my ID. And I felt alive. I was pretty sure he was gonna fall in love with me on that very night. Then I went upstairs to do some last minute edits, because nothing makes me feel cooler than writing with a pen on a piece of paper that I have stolen from my place of employment. And I'm writing and looking. I took so many selfies, just knowing I would want to remember how great I looked on this night. And then I looked at my phone because I was like, why is nobody else here at the hideout yet? They should be done with their meeting, which is inexplicably at another place in a very different neighborhood. And I was baffled. And I looked down at a set list that someone who I had never seen in my life put on the table when he came up to start tuning his guitar for some reason on a night that he wasn't in the show that was going to be going on. And I saw that the set list had absolutely nothing about the Collector's Edition, this show. And then my brain was like, oh, fuck. That email must mean that they switched venues, that the show is at a different place. That show that starts in 7 minutes is 4 miles away from me. And I start to panic. I'm starting to have like a full-blown panic attack, which is the worst thing a human being can experience that isn't like rape or murder or genocide, yada, yada, yada. They're really bad. So I walk downstairs and I look into the soul of the beautiful tattooed man who had asked for my ID, and I was like, my show's not here. I was wrong. As tears start to well up in my eyes. Now I know I will for sure never have sex with that guy, and he will never love me. Still dealing with it. I go outside and I immediately kick myself for deleting the Uber app from my phone, because there are no fucking cabs by the hideout. So I start to walk away. I start walking north on Ashland, my heart beating out of my chest, breaking into a cold sweat. My vision is starting to tunnel. I am barely keeping it together. I'm hyperventilating, but I know I have to get to this show because people are counting on me. I'm doing that thing where you call over and over again. Like every time it goes to voicemail, you just hang up, yell fuck, and then hit send again. Over and over. I leave 8 voicemails. I send so many emails to this group email chain about how I was so wrong about where the show was, and I'm getting there and I'll be there, and to please let me still do it, because it really means a lot to me, and I'm a fundamentally good human who has just made one small mistake, and please don't stop loving me. This is the moment in the story where I should mention that I have a couple weird crossed wires. And when I have certain types of stress or panic, all of that ends up finding its way into my clitoris. Every time I found out a partner has cheated on me, I immediately masturbate. The time I realized a year and a half late that I had not paid my taxes. Masturbated. I call it stress-turbation. And it's a weird thing that happens to me every now and then. I had walked about a mile when a cab finally stopped for me. The show had started 2 minutes before that cab stopped for me. But I felt like maybe things were going to be okay for a second. And then I sit in this cab, and all of that panic finds its way to my clitoris. It's not a fun kind. Like, normally when you're touching your own pussy, you're like, things are pretty cool. That's not the case when, like, the reason you're touching your vagina is because something horrible inside of you is confusing a bunch of, like, nerve signals, and you have to. But I don't want to masturbate in front of this guy who looks like a dad who's driving a car for money because that's the thing he can do. So I'm sitting in this cab as the pain in my clit grows, and I realize there's no way out. I have to come. I don't want to, but I have to. So I take my messenger bag and I scoot it over my lap, under which my pussy lives. And then I take this very hand and I scoot it under my messenger bag. It takes only a few sharp presses. It's not normal masturbating when there's like a circular motion, ladies, am I right? Where you're sort of like, it's just like bam, 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 pa-poo. But right before the pa-poo, I looked up into the rearview mirror to make sure that this man, who definitely has children who he just wants to make a better life for, also looked into the rearview mirror. And as our eyes met, I came harder than any man has ever made me come. The thing about coming from pure panic is that it is kind of like Funyuns. You can't just stop at one. You have to dig in for a little cluster. And so I came 4 more times. Quietly, with anguish washed upon my face. While this man, who is definitely the father of children who he loves more than his own life, looked into my soul. We arrived at our destination, and I stepped out of the cab dripping with shame, and I pulled out my phone to see if anyone had responded to me. And I looked at the date, and I was like, oh, today's the 14th. The show's tomorrow. I masturbated in that man's cab for no reason. I hate myself. Thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys. That was a bunch of stories about loving yourself a little bit, getting a little busy on your own. We Still Like You, and you can listen to us all the time. We're a podcast. You can go back, listen to some episodes you haven't, dive in, take a journey, find us online.
Fun.
We're on Twitter at We Still Like You, facebook.com/We Still Like You. We're all over the internet.
And if you want to submit a story of your own to try and be on the show, email us at westillikeyou@gmail.com.
That's where you can reach us. And tell us what makes you feel ashamed.
Find us on Facebook.
But don't find us late for dinner. Hell yeah. Always wanted to say that.
We Still Like You is produced by Danny Gallegos, Dan Sheehan, Tyler Snodgrass, and J. Michael Osborne, who is also our resident live artist.
The podcast is produced by Jesse Patend, engineered by Jesse Patend and Sam Haas. Our theme song is Specific People by Jake Tobin. Big thanks to all the people who've housed our live shows at various undisclosed locations around Chicago, and to you, the listener, for being there.
If you'd like to know more about where you can watch We Still Like You or submit to be on We Still Like You, please check out our website, which is westillikeyou.com, and also you can find us on Facebook.
We'll see you next month.
Next time on We Still Like You.
If you could just tell all the performers to make sure to hold on while they're standing, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
They'll be up here in front.
They need to hold on because you never know what happens with other cars and whatnot. So
hold on to these.
hold on to the rails. Yes.
Okay.
There's no way we're stopping for bathroom break.
I mean, we've got 2 hours, so yeah.
Anyone who can't hold pee for 2 hours shouldn't be able to drink alcohol.
And we're off. Guys, welcome to We Still Like You. Game on wheels.
We're doing it.